All right, so we got a new moon in Libra here at 28 degrees on October 21st. And I really want to look at what kind of manifesting energy we're working with in this moon. I'm going to use Spirit Keeper's Tarot for the main cards, but we will open it up with some archetype energy. Let's see what this new moon manifesting is all about this month. What does Libra have for us in this new moon? Eros. The kiss of a diamond. This feels like something coming from your lips that is actually very valuable. It's very solid and very durable. Diamonds are the hardest stone, at least from what I'm aware of. But they are very, they go through hell and back to come out that way. And it almost feels like internally you've had to process a lot of charcoal, a lot of shit, in order to spit this diamond out. The way I'm seeing it is this mouth here is what is the ending result of this diamond being released. So it was transmuted, transformed, and put through the grindstone inside internally of you. And now it's ready to come out. It's ready to be expressed. This almost feels like the Kool-Aid Man I'm getting here, busting through a wall. So this could be very sudden. This could come out, surprisingly, possibly to yourself as well as others around you. I'm also getting kind of like Superman logo energy here, or imagery with this, the way it's cut open like that. So there's some heroic, again, like the diamond, the Superman is faster than a speeding bullet and harder than steel and all the things that he is. And so it feels like you've had to maybe endure quite a bit these past months leading up to this new moon. And I think there's like this sudden gateway happening for you in this new moon that's going to actually show you some form of results from all that hard work you've been doing. We'll get another one here. We have the river. This is the flow and being accepting, and a card of forgiveness as well. The river is emotional, it's this emotional release. It's letting go of shadows of the past. Definitely things that have affected you in your root chakra, your sense of safety, your heart chakra, your love center, and then the solar plexus. So that's your willpower, your strength, your confidence, your ability to take action on something. I think there's been a bit of a blockage here in that, and it does kind of feel like these are very similar shapes, maybe just mirrored or twisted slightly at an angle. So perhaps this is that kind of breakthrough to unblock this root, heart, and solar plexus chakra energy that's been kind of stagnant in you. There's definitely a need to be very graceful and very fluid in how you navigate this new moon and this month and how it's going to unfold, especially in the full lunar cycle, the 28 days to come after the new moon. But I would also say in the 6 months to follow, up to the Aries new moon. Or the Libra full moon. And that will be when the sun is in Aries. And then we got two more here. We've got the venom in the mirror. This feels like, it feels like standing in the mirror and your thoughts, your words, your how you talk to yourself, how you think about yourself, they are your own poison when you look in your reflection. I am seeing someone who is very unsatisfied with the way things are in their reflection. Something is reflected back to you as well. I think there might be something externally that could come up this month in the new moon that gets reflected back to you that becomes a little bit more apparent. I feel like it was kind of staticky and out of view before, and then it's like this, again, like a sudden breakthrough of some sort. Then the archetype on the bottom, we have the 1. And this is understanding that you are connected to Source at all times, even if you feel like you are alone. Your divinity is always inside of you. I'm hearing you were the one the whole time. So this may be a realization when you've been depending on external validation or relationships, seeking your quote-unquote 1, your divine counterpart, a very common thing to manifest during a Libra new moon, which is all about, relationships. It's about balance and harmony and finding that other half a lot of times. But here, this feels like a relationship with yourself that's really coming through. I find it very interesting that these shapes are all very similar shaped. They're not quite the same. They're each a little different, but they are all very similar. So I feel like these 3 especially are very much tied together. And this just might be you finally seeing how you have poisoned yourself when you look at yourself or evaluate yourself or judge who you are or what you do. Eros is she's a very sexual goddess as well. She definitely, at least in the astrology chart, is the asteroid that rules your desires, your eroticism. So this is an element of, I think, manifesting maybe a more playful, sensual side of yourself. You might need to focus on your sexual health a little bit here. That might come to surface during the new moon. That's definitely an energy that you are enraptured with. But this can also serve non-sexually. They're both, sex and creativity are both ruled by your sacral chakra. And so, if you're not particularly interested in the sexual nature of Eros, you can certainly channel this creatively. There's a lot of creative opportunity and life force just being in the flow state of it, especially with the river. Being in the flow state so much that you could lose a sense of time while you are creating something. And it doesn't have to be like just artistic. I mean, it can, but it can be, creative writing, art, painting, drawing, of course, are naturally there, but things like building stuff or designing stuff or designing spreadsheets. I mean, there's 1,000 ways you can be creative in your own way. And I think this is really a great moon to manifest your energy towards that. And it's begging you to pay attention to it more because I think it's been neglected, possibly because of the way you view yourself. Negative self-connotations. Maybe you're not confident enough to be, to really let loose and to just let your artistic flair flow or your sexual side flow. There's definitely poison in what you see mirrored back to you. That blade here in the mirror card, this looks like a sharp blade of glass almost cutting through an illusion, cutting through the fog. There's like a pure awareness here, I think, of what is just toxic to you. And I do strongly feel that it is in regards to your own way of thinking of yourself and maybe something you do as a habit or something you're doing that's harming yourself. But I also think there is a full awareness here of the things around you that are also draining your energy. Cool. Well, this will be interesting. I'm excited to see how this develops. Let's dig into the cards. The first position we're going to start out with here is the what this new moon is begging you to manifest. What do we got going on? The wish granted. The Nine of Chalices. This is a focus on manifesting what is like truly emotionally fulfilling and important to you. What gives you this great elation and sense of abundance? I'm feeling an ecstasy energy almost. I'm getting like waves of ecstasy where it's just this washing over you that is just incredibly like ecstatic. It feels amazing. And so this is about manifesting and really putting down intention to focus on what makes you feel this way. What makes you feel like you're on ecstasy? You've cleared out so much, and I think you've got some venomous poison within and around you that you're clearing out here, but this is how we reset so that you can actually put your focus in the direction that it should be right now. And the divine really wants you to say, you know, you have worried about other people and you have been forgetting that you are the one. You are the one that is really important. So it's time to put that focus back. I'll get more cards to clarify that deeper, but let's get the table laid out first. So what is being released to make space for this new energy? What do we need to let go of here? Let's get an idea of this venom a bit more. The Scarlet Shield. Sanctum of the Valiant. The shields in this deck are the knights. I believe the Scarlet Shield would be the Knight of Wands, but I could be wrong on the suit. The Sanctum of the Valiant. This feels like releasing an energy of ego, of really needing to be like the front center guy with the biggest, flume on his head and like the feathers and the whole decorations and everything. He's got the fanciest little sword and it's just radiating. I mean, everything about him is very like flamboyant and out there and kind of a look at me energy in a way. This could be someone around you. This could be you if you've been really worried about what other people think about you, how you're perceived or how you're viewed. If that's been on your mind a lot, I think Spirit is saying, like you're kind of wasting your time because who gives a shit? Like at the end of the day, you have to answer for you. And it's your emotions that have to miss out on what you really desire if you're too busy trying to fulfill other people's desires. What is being released to make space for this new energy? What are we letting? Oh, I just said that. What obstacle is going to be in the way of this goal here of the Nine of Wands? Wow, Nine of Wands. Okay, interesting. So note that, the Nine of Wands. This is protection. I feel like this is you establishing boundaries in relation to your wishes. I don't feel like there's any mistake that slipped out. I do feel like there's intention for everything when I do my readings. And so I think, you're in need of protecting house and getting a lot more firm on your boundaries and persevering with them, not giving up, not folding so easy if people push you and say, well, what about my wishes? Why don't we do my thing? Where's the focus on me? And that's when you need to establish and say no. So the shining flame, embers of the salamander. Okay, so the Scarlet Shield and the shining flame. So the flames here, the shining ones are the knights and the shields are the queens. Interesting. Okay. I'm still very getting familiar with this deck. It's very new to me. I bought it a long time ago and tucked it away, and then I did a reading once and I read the book with it and it was very overwhelming at the time. So I put it away and then I just recently found it and I've been in love with it, but on the journey to refamiliarizing myself with the deck because it's a little bit different than a traditional. Embers of the Salamander. The obstacle in your way, I think, is your ability to direct your force and passion in a measured way. The way he's holding his stick here, it's like very balanced and tight. He's not letting it kind of wobble or tip to one side or the other. I feel like this is also when you get the inspiration, when you get the breakthrough and the strike. being able to effectively channel your energy so that it actually results in action to completion. It doesn't just start out in action and then kind of fizzles out or goes nowhere or gets like scattered and lost. All right. How can I conquer that obstacle? Archangel Commander, Angel of Storms and Battles. Archangels are the kings in this deck. Wow, okay, so his shield makes me feel like you're about to go into hyperspace. It's like, buckle up because we're about to take off. Be prepared. I think you got to be prepared. There's a sense of discernment here too that is much needed. And I feel like there's a puzzle to figure out here. I'm not quite remembering what these symbols mean in the cards. I'm gonna have to study that one. But because I don't know, that's the mystery to be solved, right? There's a puzzle here. It looks like it's supposed to be a game of tic-tac-toe almost, or reminds me a bit of like a tiny Sudoku. You can overcome this obstacle, I think, by being very discerning in how you plan ahead. And take a lot of forethought. Your plan needs to be more mature than you actually executing the plan. Executing the plan needs to be a bit more fun, a bit more flashy. The plan itself needs to be, down to earth, very logical, very well thought out. You're giving forethought to everything. You've got backup plans. How is this manifestation going to benefit your life? Herald of the Earth, dedication of the adept. The eternal student. Heralds are the pages in this deck. This is the Page of Pentacles. This is a manifestation, something being birthed in real life, something from the ethers. It feels like it started way back here in this like cosmic cloud, and now it's like delivered. But why is her back to it? We'll figure out why she's got her back turned. This is education. I think you will learn something a great deal, or find something that you become extremely passionate about learning. A new opportunity. This could be a new business opportunity, being a Pentacles. But I'm getting more student than I am business. What does this manifestation look like as it grows? So 3 of Scepters, the politic. This is the 3 of Wands. This feels like 3 people joining together to create something very powerful. I'm getting more of like a 3 of Pentacles energy. This could be commerce and business, expansion in some way. This feels ritualistic. This could look like a day in, day out situation for you. You might be geared up here, energized to manifest, certain habits or routines or daily practices, ritualistic practices that actually really help you grow and expand on a soul level. It feels very spiritual what they're doing here. And like they are joining together in a holy trinity to create and to perfectly frame this sun, this glowing sun behind them. The sun feels important here. That's success and vitality. This could be health, positive health and joining together. This could also be, I think, a way to integrate 3 different facets of your life into one joining force. Like if you're working a 9-to-5 and you have a passion project and you have a volunteer project, silly example, but just what's coming to mind. This could be like in some way those 3 things intersecting as this grows, as you manifest this, what you really want. Then everything else I feel like just kind of clicks and aligns in your life to where it's like an easier flow, almost like the river. It flows much easier downstream when they're all aligned together. The advice from the divine on manifesting this new moon is a divine higher genius, the angel. This is Temperance. You need to do some alchemy here. I feel like there's some purification processes that will need to occur for you leading up to and around the full moon. I don't know why I keep thinking that. It's not the full moon, it's the new moon. Perhaps this is talking about the full moon in 6 months from the new moon in Libra, which will be a full moon in Libra around, I think, March or April. Perhaps you need to do some shadow work to clear out this venom. Oh, okay. And what is helping you manifest this new intention? What is aligning with you to manifest this new intention? The Seeker. This is one of the 3 fools in this deck. Spirit in search of science. I am hearing seeking facts will bring the truth. Don't get caught up in illusions. Don't get caught up in what's real, and don't also get caught up in your emotions. All right, let's look at the bottom of the deck. Archangel of Glory, Angel of Art and Grace. This king is about expressing your creativity, for sure. And look, there's the, so all the kings must have these on. Okay. He looks like he's got paintbrushes here and a torch. Archangel, and then you have another king behind that. Angel who illuminates the shadow. This is the angel of mysteries. This to me reads as behind the scenes, what you don't see happening. You can't see, whether it's spiritually or other people are physically doing stuff behind the scenes to help propel you in this path. You've got 2 kings here, or 2 angels. Maybe they aren't actually kings, maybe they're angels, but one of them here is a creative genius, fully Eros energy, Eros. The other here is one of the mysteries. This is your spirituality. This is blending spirit and art together. Okay, well, let's dig in a little deeper. Show me this wish granted. What do I need to know about this wish granted? What is this wish? I'll just take 1 card, I think, and then if we need more, we'll pull more. But usually I do 3, but there's so many on here, I don't want this to take forever. The Sun. Yeah, this is your happiness. I mean, through and through. We have the Sun. What makes you happy? It's time to let go of some old chains and some, I think, toxic situations. This could be relationships. This could be environments around you. And this could be just a relationship with yourself that's been very toxic and holding you back. Like overthinking and being really negative with yourself. I'm just hearing the word F it. Like, F it, just go. 3 of Swords in reverse below that. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is a healing and a letting go of some form of being not enough, I think. not having enough, not being enough, not being able to provide enough, and whatever you want to do in this wish, I feel like you come up against yourself as like, am I enough? Am I going to be rejected? Is this not going to be worth it? And that's a toxic, pattern. That's a toxic mindset. It's a lie. It's a lie that you are telling yourself, I think, maybe to protect yourself from needing to be your own advocate. The Scarlet Shield, Sanctum of the Valiant. What is being released to make space for this new energy? We had that ego, look at me energy. Is that what's on here? Five of Swords reversed. Inner conflict, a struggle, letting go of conflict, a struggle healing from conflict of the past. I feel like there's an inner conflict of your wisdom as well. I think whoever this applies to, you already know something that you have been needing to release, whether it's yourself or something outside of yourself. And there's just been a lot of like back and forth on this. Sanctum of the Valiant. I do wonder if this Scarlet Shield here represents someone else. And you've been struggling internally whether to let them go or not. That this could be your own habits. I mean, this could be the inner transformation that you were denied. That's what you were releasing. I feel like you've been hiding and almost licking your wounds because there was a transformation that you tried to make before. One that was, I feel like, very personal, very internal. The moth is an insect of the night. So I don't feel like it's like this outer like butterfly transformation. This is more something nocturnal that happens in the dark, in the shadows, in the mysteries. And I'm getting being hung for it. Not, like almost like burning witches at the stake for doing what you love or trying to do what you love. It created a lot of conflict. This could also, this could be conflict within yourself because of old belief systems. Like, for example, you want to do tarot, but your whole family grew up Catholic. Well, there's a conflict of belief there from when you grew up to what you really want to do, what's really calling your heart, what really makes you happy. Okay. Bottom of the deck, this might be helpful. We've got the Three of Swords again, and that Five of Pentacles. Healing from that same sense of rejection. That's what this release is all about. This old apple, this old way of seeing things, seeing yourself, seeing your desires potentially, if you're making like really harsh judgments on what you want. The Shining Flame. Clarifies the embers of the salamander, please, for this obstacle. The Three of Cups. Yeah, I do feel like this Shining Flame, this Knight of Wands, this is going to be a conflict or an obstacle because you will need to collaborate, I think, with other people in this venture, or you will need to deal with the collaboration of other people in this venture. Feels like there's external influences around this manifestation, or there will be. And it's being able to maintain a sense of harmony without giving up the hope for transformation and for new things to develop. Give me another card on this Three of Cups. Another card, please. What is this? 3 of Cups. Yeah, 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, working together with someone else. Coming together in a group. There's growth to be had here in working with other people, and I almost wonder if you are shy in a sense because you don't have enough confidence in yourself to show people what you're made of. Here we have the Knight of Wands as the bottom of the deck energy, the same as this Knight. You're hesitant to expose, I think, what's going on with other people, but I think other people are there to support you and help you. And I think the obstacle is, how do you balance that without letting ego or assertiveness or impulsivity, maybe other people are impulsive and assertive. None of these are in reverse, so I don't feel like there's any kind of negative connotation to this. But I feel like it's you adjusting in a foreign world that's going to be the toughest. So how do we conquer this? I just hear clear mind, clear heart, clear words. Communication is going to be a big deal here. Judgment in reverse. Yeah, this is about not being overly critical on yourself. Being overly judgmental of what you can achieve or what you can't achieve. It feels like a very dark mind. Dark thoughts. And that could very well be that venom I was talking about earlier, reflecting, like you look in the mirror and that's your thoughts reflecting back to you. Give me one more for that one. Nine of Swords reverse. Yeah, okay. Or, wait. No, that's Queen of Swords reverse. Okay. And that's also very, like, judgmental, critical, can be rather bitchy and cold and ruthless and pretty mean. This is like your thoughts turning on yourself. Bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Swords reverse, causing you a sense of like anxiety and unrest and a lack of confidence to move forward into something more structured. And I almost feel like public. I feel like this man is like in front of a crowd right now. Okay. So let's see how this benefits your life, this manifestation. Following your wishes, your dreams, what makes you happy. How does it benefit you? The Hanged Man. You receive some form of enlightenment. This feels like a soul lesson almost that creates a complete sense of balance. You're manifesting something here. We have the Tree of Life. Some type of perspective shift drops down from the ether, from the heavens, and it like just plops right in your mouth. And I think that's when out spits the diamond. You are learning how to surrender your will to the divine, and by doing so, you can go with the flow and become the one with the one. There's a universal synergy here. It feels effortless, but yet profound. Give me one more card. The Tower. Yeah, this is shaking you up. Shaking you up where you've been overwhelmed or in a state of illusion. This is disillusionment. And finally, because of it, I feel like you understand it's time to make a decision to take action and to pick yourself up again. Because you have a spiritual lesson to learn here and achieve. You have like some type of a spiritual calling, I want to say. Like, this is like a soul path. the way the lightning is lined out in front of the hangman, I feel like it's the hangman himself that is like exerting the lighting. So it's like your perspective shift. You will gain a sense of like manifestation and learning and new opportunities. And I think seeing things from a whole fresh new way of relating to things on earth. And it will completely just blow up those foundations that I was kind of mentioning before, the belief systems. You know, if you're a person who's struggling with a conflict of what you were brought up to believe versus what you really want to do, this would blow that away. This would break that free, so you can start over with fresh soil and plant something new with the page of earth here. Let's clarify the Three of Scepters, the politic, for what this looks like as it grows. Four of Wands. This is like a great sense of harmony. I'm also getting like a crystal healing guide here with the imagery. So this feels like a frequency alteration that is for the better. It's almost like your frequency was out of tune. And by coming together and everything clicking in place, this is like the altar. And you guys over here, the Three of Wands, are above the altar. It feels like it's all just the perfect harmony of just one step after the other in this ritual or this experience or this expansion. I'm hearing like things finally sync up. They finally align. Eight of Pentacles. And then the Nine of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you've overcome this like fear, I think, or this feeling like you need to do more and say more and be more and put out more and just keep going and going and going until you're like burnt out. And actually, I think what this is telling you here is as this grows, this looks more and more like you understanding the flow and accepting the flow of the universe without letting the venom of your thoughts tell you and reflect back to you that you are not doing enough. You know what you need to do, and you do what you need to do in a timing that is proper in the universal flow of things. You're not worried if it's, you know, not enough or if it's never going to be good enough. Hopefully this reading isn't getting too long. The Angel, Temperance. Advice on how to manifest more. How to manifest in this new moon. I don't know why I said manifest more. Are you already a star manifester? Okay. What is this? The World in reverse. Okay. Give me one more. There's that moth. Every moth in this deck so far has been upside down. Inner transformation. And then the Devil. I think some type of a agreement, a contract agreement, soul agreement, whether with yourself or with somebody else, it's been waiting for you to close it out for a long time. And it still just has this little stranglehold on you. It's like just when you think you're ready for spring to come and the flowers to bloom, you look up and you realize the devil is still there. He's come back around again. And this has to do definitely with your thoughts, your emotions. Nine of Swords reversed. Seven of Cups reversed. 10 of Swords reversed. 6 of Cups reversed. Okay, this is a lot of reversals. I usually stop reading the bottom of the deck once the negative or upright cards go the opposite. That tells me that the energy is ready to be cut off on the bottom. So we've got the King of Cups, the 9 of Swords reversed, 7 of Cups reversed, 10 of Swords reversed, 6 of Cups reversed, and then it becomes this opportunity, that 3 of Wands here. Your advice, I feel like, is to make sure that your emotional regulation, I think, is going to be the most important part for you in managing this Temperance angel energy. and in closing this cycle, because it feels like emotionally you maybe let go of something and then it loops back around once your mind starts feeding it all these fears and stories and such. And so this is about progressing away from that, because the emotional overwhelm, I think, leads you to a mental like ambush almost, is what I'm getting. Like I can see more of the traditional Ten of Swords, where he's like on the ground and attacked, stabbed in the back. And it feels like you turn on yourself to such an extreme extent that it prevents you from removing yourself from the situation enough to keep going. So possibly you give up. You don't want to do it anymore. And this is like an old emotional cycle that keeps happening from the past. It's so interesting. So you have emotions, swords, emotions, swords, emotions, and then wands. Finally, it's once you can let go of the original, I'm getting the root emotion, being like doing some shadow work and going back in your past to determine where this habit or pattern started, and then digging it out by the root. You have to go back to the origin, is what I'm thinking here. And as soon as you go to the origin, then it's in like an instant like enlightenment. The eye is open. He sees everything. It's bright. It's sunny. He's got full spectrum of the chakras and the rainbow here. And things are moving, I feel like, forward and out fast. And that's where that diamond comes out. You realize that you haven't been able to move ahead because you've been so attached to something in the past, a certain pattern or dynamic or relationship, or maybe words, a memory from the past, a relationship with your parents possibly interfering here. All right, last but not least, we have the Seeker as what is helping you on this journey of manifestation. Help me out here with the Seeker. Oh, I almost said the secret. Okay. Are you starting a secret new beginning? The Five of Pentacles. Four of Swords reversed. Give me one more. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups. The Knight of Cups. The Six of Cups. And then the Hierophant's in reverse. Oh, interesting. From the bottom of the deck, immediately I'm getting this is a relationship, a reunion with yourself. The artistic side of yourself, the childish side of yourself, like inner child healing might be really pivotal here, especially with the Six of Cups involved. This is like memories from the past, very past. And somehow those memories from the past, the web has both served you and harmed you. Because the web to me a lot of times will represent, you know, the creator, a weaver of a web can create a whole layer, a plane of existence. But in this case as well, I do feel like sometimes you're like the little fly that gets caught in the web. You can't quite free yourself. So you go in circles and waiting and waiting. So that's beneath the surface. The Fool is a new energy. It's like a fresh new start, and it's a reset. And I think you need to address this mentally first, using logic and reason and facts, like as if you're going through like an actual like psychology course or a session with your therapist, to dig down to like what's subconsciously going on, what you've been keeping hidden from yourself, what's your shadow like, you know, things like that, like a studious journey almost, to identify what's been rotting and how you can take action to heal this, because it is causing a definite block in your ability to feel and be abundant in this situation. Now, in some cases, and I don't know if this is for everybody, because we've got two kings on the table here. This might be about a relationship coming through with a king of some sort, who is, I think, possibly a reconnection from the past. This could be soulmate lifetimes ago. It doesn't have to be this lifetime. But it somehow breaks you out of this stuck belief system and opens you up to rebel. And rebellion, I feel like, is exactly what you need here. This could be a friendship too. I don't necessarily mean like someone romantic. This could be a friendship. But this is coming heart to heart with somebody, and so much cups energy. It's very emotional, but you do have the fire and the water to kind of, well, the fire. You have the fire to kind of balance that out. However, I do have a feeling here the water in some way will douse this king of fire out. So be cautious that your emotions don't become so overwhelming that it rebels in the sense of like not completing something. Because through your rebellion, you have something very tangible and long lasting and worth your investment, worth your time. Okay, let's close this out with a couple oracle cards. I want to do an angel one, angels, gods, and goddesses, but first let's pull this one. This is addressing a facade. I think you've been in denial about it and like holding back on making some type of a decision. Not wanting to leave this devil energy behind quite yet. But in not really accepting the truth and speaking that truth, you're putting on a front. You're not showing the real you here. I think you've been negotiating your own terms much too long for people outside of yourself. And it should not be that way. You've been like handing over your reins, your autonomy, and what you really want in this life to please other people, or just not to have to deal with the consequences of what happens if you decide to not do what other people want. And I think Spirit here is begging you to knock it off, to stop doing that. Let's pull an angels, gods, and goddesses oracle. The goddess of psychic protection. What you believe you create, no one can harm you. Angel of psychic ability. Wow. So expect some very intuitive and psychic. Yeah, angel of clearing. You got to clear up this venom in order to make way for the psychic channel to come through. So you've definitely got a lot of psychic activity happening here. Maybe you're not letting people know really how much you know. You just stay quiet and let them think they are playing you. But I'm feeling this sense of like a reckoning needing to happen here. What you believe you create, no one can harm you. If you're experiencing heightened psychic activity in this moon or leading up to this moon, do your own measures for protecting yourself and your energy, your aura. But do trust as well that you've got a team around you who is supporting you and who is helping you in this. They've got your back. Your intuition and your psychic abilities are probably getting stronger. That might be part of what this learning experience is and what this manifestation does to benefit your life once you conquer this obstacle. Is like this whole new awakening, this spiritual download that just kind of blows through you all of a sudden. And suddenly, like I mentioned the Kool-Aid Man before, it's like this diamond comes through the wall. It comes through the barrier. Well, that's where I'm going to leave it for now. Hopefully this wasn't too long of a reading. Thank you for watching. If this resonates or you want to claim the energy, please like it in the comments. like it or comment. It'll really help my channel grow, and I appreciate you. Happy manifesting.